Hello dear students, welcome to Jnanpith and this is RKD with you. In today's class, we are going to discuss about conditionals. We already know that conditionals is one of the very important topics in English grammar sections. So today in this class, we will discuss about what is conditionals, number one. Number two, what does conditional describe to us? And number three, obviously, how many types of conditionals are there in English grammar? So let's start our today's class without delay. First of all, I will say that the term conditionals is very important both in terms of grammar and writing skills. Just have a look at this blackboard. Conditionals have the word condition in it. So what is conditionals? In terms of definition, I will say you that the term or word conditionals describes as the result of a certain condition or situation. So that is what is conditionals. Apart from this, what does it do? Conditionals refers to, conditional stands for imposing or denoting or depending on a particular condition. Number one, apart from that, in a sentence where conditional is present, we will find obviously a result of that particular condition. So in a sentence having conditionals, we will see two parts of that sentence. First one, if clause. This if clause will say us about a certain condition, and the remaining part will say us about the result of that particular conditions. Hopefully clear? So now we are going to learn about how many types of conditionals are there in English grammar. We can see 4 types of conditionals in English grammar, which begins with zero conditionals. So number one is zero conditionals. Number two, first conditional. Number three, second conditional. Number four, third conditional. So let's start with zero conditional. Very important but very easy. Zero conditional. The title may mislead you that if you think there is no condition in such types of examples, then you are wrong. Obviously there will be a condition and there has to be a result of that particular condition. So the structure is thus: if plus simple present plus simple present. If the structure goes like this, then it will be zero conditional. Mind it, the structure will tell you what type of variation is this. If the structure is if plus simple present plus again simple present, then it will be zero conditionals. So this theory will be crystal clear whenever we will see an example. So the first example of zero conditional is this: if it rains, the trees get wet. Just have a look at this sentence. The if clause is in present tense. How do you know that? The main verb takes an s with it, and if the main verb or principal verb takes an s or es with it, the tense will have to be in simple present. So the if clause is in simple present tense, and the remaining part, the remaining clause is also in simple present tense, simply because get is the principal verb and it is in PV1 form. So hopefully this is crystal clear. The if clause, that is subordinate clause, and the remaining part, the principal clause part, both are in simple present tense. Number one. So that if clause is in subordinate clause. What is subordinate clause? The clause which has to depend on other part of the sentence or other clauses or other clause in order to express its own meaning. That is what is subordinate clause. In this sentence, if it rains, has to depend on this principal clause, simply because without this part, if clause will not be able to express its own meaning. That is why this is called subordinate clause. Subordinate clause is also called dependent clause, simply because it depends on other part or other clause. That is why it is subordinate clause. But the second part, the trees get wet, this part does not need the if clause. If we write simply the trees get wet, if we write this sentence simply, then it will be able to express its own meaning with its own merit. It does not need anyone or any part of sentence or any clause to express its own meaning. Hopefully clear. So if clause will have to be a subordinate clause in terms of at least in terms of conditionals. Zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, third conditional. In every types of conditionals, if clause will be a subordinate clause. Hopefully this is crystal clear to you. And the remaining part will have to be a principal clause, simply because it does not need anyone or any other to express its own meaning. It can express its own meaning with its own might. Hopefully everything is fine or clear. So if clause denotes a condition or a situation. What is the condition or situation? If it rains, it is the condition or situation. The result is what? The result is the trees get wet. We already know if it rains, the entire earth gets wet. So the trees cannot be the exception. So the condition is rain if it rains, and the result is the trees get wet. So if clause will speak to us, will tell us about a condition. Number one. Number two, if clause is in present tense in terms of zero conditionals. Number three, if clause will have to be a subordinate clause. Mind it. In terms of principal clause or the remaining part, the trees get wet. This part is the result of that particular condition. The trees get wet, it is also in present tense. It shows the result. So in zero conditionals, the structure will be if plus simple present plus simple present. No future or past tense will be used in terms of zero conditionals. Number two, first conditional. In terms of first conditional, the most vital part is our structure. So what is the structure? Let's see. If in every type of conditional, if is the common link. In every type of conditional, the condition will be depicted by the if clause. So if is common. If plus simple present plus will or shall plus principal verb PV1, or you may call this future tense. That will be correct too. So first conditional structure goes like this: if plus simple present. Let's see an example. If you read more. If you read more. Example of present tense, the verb is in PV1 form. Okay, punctuation mark. If you read more, you will top the exam. If clause, this is a subordinate clause. Each and every if clause, wherever you read such types of sentences, the if clause will be in subordinate clause. If clause, subordinate clause, number 1. Number 2, if clause denotes a condition. Number 3, simple present tense. So if clause done. Now the principal clause. I know you already know why this is principal clause. Simply because I just want to remind you, simply because you will top the exam, that part can express its own meaning without the help of if clause. Be clear about it. So the structure is if plus simple present plus future. So this part, number 1, principal clause, you will top the exam. This will be a principal clause. Number 2, this will tell us about the result. Number 3, it is in future. So hopefully this is clear to you. The structure is the main key. So what is the structure? If plus simple present plus future, or will or shall plus PV1. That means the base form of principal verb. Next we'll see second conditionals. Once again the structure will change. Second conditional. The structure is if clause will tell us condition and it will be in subordinate clause. That's it. If plus simple past. The present tense days are over. Now in second conditional we have to use, I should say, if plus simple past, and the remaining part, the most important part I should say here is would. In second conditional, in the principal clause we will use would. The past form of will is would. Mind it. Would plus the base form or first form of principal verb. So the first conditional is different from the second conditional in terms of structure and tense. So let's have an example of this.
If history question gulo dekhi, which power of the Badami Chalukya originally subjects for অর্থাৎ বাদামির চালুক্যরা কাদের আন্ডারে ছিল? A Hoysal, B Pandya,
we can find in such sentences
এর উত্তর হবে সি কদম্ব, কদম্বের আন্ডারে
no realistic possibility. How should I be a king? How can I be a king?
Is one of the first criticism of the caste system
in India there is no kingdom or kingship
in year 1873.
So no chance of being a king for me.
এটা কিন্তু কাস্ট সিস্টেম নিয়ে লেখা হয়েছে.
So there is no realistic possibility of becoming a king. So if I were a king, I would punish the traitors. So just have a look at the structure. If clause, obviously subordinate clause, is in simple past, showing a condition, and the principal clause part, it is also in past tense. The principal clause part is also in past tense and shows us the result, and it is also a principal clause. So second conditionals will go just like this. We will have one more example. If you studied hard you would crack neat. If clause is in simple past tense. It is also an example of subordinate clause. It is also showing a condition. The result of what is this? If you studied hard, you would crack neat. That part is an example of principal clause. It is also showing the result of that particular condition, and also in past tense. So the final conditional will be third conditional. The structure is thus if plus past perfect. Whenever such questions you see that type of questions in exam, then just try to remind the structure of each and every conditionals. If the if clause is in past perfect, then the conditional has to be in third conditional. Mind it, if the if clause is in simple present tense, then the conditional may be in zero conditional or first conditional. If the second part is in future tense, then it is first conditional. In terms of second conditional, the if clause will be in simple past tense and the remaining part will also be in simple past tense. But in terms of third conditional, the scenario will totally be changed. In third conditional, we can see that if plus past perfect, if clause will be in past perfect tense and the remaining part will use would have, and obviously the third form of principal verb. So the third conditional structure is this if plus present perfect. Let's see. If I had practiced hard, punctuation mark, if I had practiced hard, this is in past perfect. How can we know? Had in past perfect tense, the auxiliary verb will be had and the principal verb will be in third form. So this is in past perfect tense. So if clause is in past perfect tense and the remaining part, I would have won the race. So the if clause is in past perfect. That is what we said earlier, and the remaining part will use would have plus the third form of principal verb. So that is the structure of third conditional. One more example, please. If he had written more, he would have finished the answer. Just look at the sentence and comply it with the structure. What is said in the structure part? If plus past perfect. Just have a look at this. If he had written more, this is in past perfect tense. And the remaining part, what have we used? Would have finished. He would have finished the answer. So in terms of third conditional, the structure will change. Hopefully everything is clear to you. If there is any queries or any problems regarding this topic, please inform us in our comment section, and you can follow us in social medias just like that, in Instagram, Facebook, or if you want to join us, then you can join our Telegram channel, The link is already given in the description box. And apart from this, if you want to know about our online or offline batch, you can call us in this number. So in the next class, we will meet once again with a new topic. Till then, goodbye, take care.